Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, viewers. I'm here with a very gentle but vibrant young man. We give him the time to introduce himself by himself. We are going to have an inclusive interview with him. And I urge all of you to pay attention and give us your time so that you will listen to whatever he's going to say. So I will give him the time to introduce himself. Mr. Can I meet you?
Yes, you can meet me.
So tell us a little about yourself.
Okay, my name is George. I'm from Boko local government area, and I'm age 25.
Okay.
By the grace of God, August 27, if I stay alive, I'll be 26. And I've been in politics. My first political party is New Nigeria People's Party. And when I joined the party, the chairman of the party made me his personal assistant because I was very committed. I was always coming around to help with the administrative functions in the office. So from there, culminating up to the 2023 general election, he now made me the national youth coordinator of Boko local government. Though I was young, but I could organize things. So it was no more of the age. It was more of the ability to organize and achieve big targets. So in a little while, we were able to organize a lot of youth from Boko for our presidential candidate, Rabiu, His Excellency Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso.
Okay.
So from there, I now became, later on, the secretary of the party, Barrister John Tine, now left the party later on, after the elections. So from there was an opening, and by the special grace of God, I was now made the state party secretary.
Okay.
By the state executive council of the party in the state.
No wonder.
So I began to enter state executive meetings, and I got in tune to understand a lot of wranglings in the political space, relating with INEC, relating with the court, and handling a lot of cases with the legal advisor, moving hand in hand, minuting documents, minuting files, those type of things.
All right. I believe you are one of the youngest person to be a state party secretary.
Yes.
Yes.
Actually, when I was made, yes.
Okay.
Actually, when I was made the state party secretary, when people were congratulating me, they were like, since '99, when we return back to democracy, and I've been the youngest.
Yes, actually.
Yes, and they were expecting this abrogation of power, and I'm not that type of a person.
So how do you feel when you were made to wear that kind of big responsibility?
Yes, the responsibility was more of, I was looking up to achieving what can talk of me in time to come. Most of the reforms that happened in the party at the state level, like there were a lot of tussles, and there were a lot of people who wanted to create some factions. So we find a way legally around it to resolve those issues. And then we also find a way to get more members. You know, if you have a responsibility, you need to set a goal, a target. It is a target that make it work. So you're not working for so many things. You are working for certain targets. Immediately those targets are met, your responsibility is done. So as a state secretary, I was in engine room connecting the party members and the schools. So I occupy a critical role to run administration. So I was more focused on administration, organization of party members and their schools, and to make sure that everything the party has to do that require my office is facilitated quickly.
All right, thank you. As someone who has been actively involved in governance and development conversations, what is your perspective on the current state of governance in Nigeria, particularly the one of Benue State?
Yes, you see, when you ask about Nigeria, I'm not in other states.
Yeah.
I read about other states.
Yeah.
But you see, it's good that let me talk about what I know and what I see here happening in my own state.
Yes, which is Benue.
Yes, my perspective about governance in Benue State is it has not actually been a favorable one since '99.
Yeah.
Because Benue is a very rich state. Benue is not a civil service state.
Yeah.
So many people are like, Benue is a civil service state, we are civil service. No, Benue is not a civil service state.
Yeah.
Benue is an agricultural state.
Yeah.
And whereas in the whole world, no matter the level of technology, you can't do away with food. So Benue is a rich state.
Yeah.
So from '99, the type of governors we have been having are not economic promoting governors. They are not governors that promote economy. Most of them have a lot of big promises, and when they enter, they tend up to begin to digress gradually and fall into the deep waters of politics.
Yes.
So, but currently, the governor we have in Benue State currently, Reverend Father Dr. Hyacinth Imalia, has taken a different turn.
Yeah.
He came on board, and the level we saw how winch hunting order past winch hunting predecessors was a norm.
Yeah.
In this government, we have not heard of such a thing. And he hit the ground running. The 16 rows he gave, is first in history.
Oh, yeah.
That a government comes on board and is giving 16 rows. The buses he was buying to make sure that our transport company here, the Benue Links, is working very proper. It was also a commendable one. You know, he hit the ground running.
Yeah.
So you could see this focus, you could see this level of zeal, and you could see this level of passion to make things work.
Yes.
But actually, if I can talk about my perspective about governance, he hit the ground running in a very good way. But there are areas, if I had opportunity to advise, I will advise.
Yes.
So I will stop at there. But compared to other administrations that came before him, at least he hit the ground running in a very good way. And the pace he entered with, he has kept. If you go to Makurdi, in the environs of Makurdi now, you could see that time rules all over. A lot of things are happening.
Yes.
Though Makurdi is not Benue, and Benue is not only Makurdi.
Yeah.
But the level of work happening now has far outweighed what has been happening before.
Yeah.
But if I want to go into other segments of governance, we have to talk about a lot of things that though he's doing well, he will have to align and shape in some certain areas to get it perfect. Thank you.
I think one of the problems the masses do have is the issue of public trust. So how do you assess the trust of the people concerning the current situation of the state? Trust.
Yes,
Public trust.
the trust of the people is very high, and the people have so much trusted him. That's why they gave him their mandate. And even as he entered, in fact, this is the first governor that, since he came into power, up till now, his popularity is still increasing. That is unlike before. They wait before you come to political seasons. You are trying to give money here and there, trying to organize political campaigns to get members to join your politics. In fact, people will be shocked when the election comes because the trust of people is still very high concerning the governor of Benue State.
It's okay. I would like to ask, what are the unique opportunities do you think exist for improving public trust and institutional performance in the state? You have spoken so well about the governor. But what are the ways of improving public trust?
You see, there's something you asked there about institutional performance.
Yes.
You see, the governor is more of a performer. The governor is more of a performer. And you see, even if you're a performer, he's getting the side of infrastructure perfect. Please, you have to pay attention.
Yes.
Because this angle I'm about to talk about now is what a lot of people don't understand. Government is an institution, and you have a lot of institutions under one big institution. And the governor is like the chief executive officer of this institution.
Yeah.
So institutional performance is based on one, the level of internal control,
Yeah.
the sectoral targets you have set. If you want to talk about sectoral targets, what are the targets the governor have set for each and every ministry? Like the problem in Benue State currently, we're having a very big problem, is the problem of unemployment and poverty. So looking at this as an agricultural state, you came on board as governor. Though you are doing very well, but you have to look at these two aspects. The issue of employment and creation of prosperity. Then you are going to approach governance with an institutional mindset. You must be a system person. You must understand systems. You must understand management. And you must understand control, internal control. You will not ask questions. In fact, you are not even to ask questions in government. You are not to ask questions when you come into office. You have to know exactly what you are coming into office to come and do. The targets you have set. For so sector, okay, if you take a look at the institution of collecting revenue in the state, Benue State has not been able to collect the revenue up to 30 billion for a year. Maybe the last time I checked, it was around 15 billion or so. So looking at that sector now, what targets have you given the BRS chairman? You understand?
Yeah.
Because you can't build a big institution like government as the head of government without massive revenue. It is when you have this money that you are going to invest heavily in food production, heavily in the private sector, heavily in private sector led economy, and heavily in revenue generation, and heavily in massive employment. So on the aspect of institutional performance, the governor have to, this is just my advice. The governor have to actually set targets.
I think that was the next question I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
In your view, what should be the top priority of the state government at this critical point in time in order to reposition the state as a rich and prosperous entity?
Yes, in fact, I was talking about that before the next question came. You see, the major problem of Benue has two major problems. No, not even two, three. But one of them get back to the other. Benue have the problem of first security of lives and property. You see Fulani herdsmen and bandits raging everywhere. Two, Benue have the problem, a key problem of unemployment. Three, the third one, this other one, the problem of no jobs have given birth to the problem of poverty. So as a state, the priority of the government, the only solution to the problem of Benue, to the problem of employment and prosperity, that is eradicating poverty, the only solution is to drive a private sector led agenda.
Okay, so for you,
a private sector led economy.
You are promoting private sector, right?
Because in fact, how many people are civil servants in Benue? Let's look at the total figure of Benue masses. How many indigenes are in Benue? How many people are living in Benue? And out of the number of these people living in Benue, how many people are the civil servants? And government cannot give jobs to everybody. And even if you can give jobs to everybody, not everybody wants to be a civil servant. You understand? And if we are in the civil service cannot actually create the prosperity we are talking about. So you have to bet an idea, and the idea should be a private sector led economy. You have to have an idea where by now we should have big companies across the globe that are setting up their factories here. They're employing youths 9,000, they're employing youths 1,000, they're employing youths in their numbers. So this is the only way you can get prosperity. It is when the private sector is actively involved. When the private sector is actively involved in the state, The government can take huge revenue. That is where you can get the revenue to do massive development. Okay, I want to give an example where see what Lagos have turned into. It's somebody's vision. One man set, which by the grace of God today is the current president. He set and bet an agenda that in the next so number of years, Lagos State can be a mega city. And everybody is now going to Lagos. Why? Somebody brought the agenda. Somebody brought the vision. Somebody set out the goals, the targets. And today they are where they are. And Lagos have a lot of companies. Even you today, if you go to Lagos and you set up something, there is no how you come back poor, except your village people have followed you there. But there is no way you come back poor. So if Benue is looking towards this direction of grooming or leading a private sector-led economy, where people are having cottage industries, where it's not government that is having all the industries, an economy where Tiza is setting up an industry, employ up to 80 people, an economy where I set up industries and employ up to 100 people, up to 20 people. So if you see these industries scattered across the state, zone A, zone B, zone C, and they are producing a lot of things, especially in the food value chain, you see that the aspect of employment and prosperity will begin to be a forgotten topic. People will begin to have money in their pockets. They can eat 3 square meals a day. They can eat anytime they want, and they can plan for bigger investment. But because we don't have a private sector-led economy agenda, up to today we have a problem.
Oh, thank you for that wonderful analogy. I think many citizens seems to have the way they look at government is quite different.
Yes.
The way they think, some they think that their life strictly rely on the government to even eat, to even whatever they think the government has a solution to all. But here you are promoting the private sector. So for your ego point, that is in your own angle of view,
yes,
what are the masses getting wrong about the general perception of governance, and why do you think we are still at the same point as people and as a state?
Yes, you see, the masses are getting a lot of things wrong. Like for instance now, somebody who does not understand governance, governance is knowledge-based approach. Somebody who does not understand governance cannot vote a good leader, especially when he's not having the right education about what it means to govern. This person does not understand how approvals are given to contracts. This person does not understand how the revenue system operates in the state. This person does not understand how somebody can leverage on certain advantages as governor and help his people. So you see that the masses, we have to change their motive behind the people that come on board for election or to be elected. Because, for instance, me now, if you come for election or if you are contesting to become governor of the state, I will have to know what you are coming to do and how you intend to do it. And these things you are putting on board must be realistic. There must be things that are achievable. I want to know how you are going to shift us from where we are to where we are going to be. So the masses have to actually understand how these things happen. That is the best way they can choose a good leader. Because the best thing I can tell you is most of the leaders we have produced in Nigeria is from the lack of understanding of these systems and how they operate from the aspect of the masses. Because if they understand how these systems operate, they can choose good leaders that can better handle these systems and manage the system properly. For instance, somebody who does not understand systems, somebody who has never been in the corporate world, somebody who has never undertaken a corporate governance, he has never minuted a fight to anybody before in his life, and this person is coming to contest for governorship. You understand? So the masses love this person, not because because governance means organization. One, this person is not organized. Maybe this person has only been somebody who has headed some campaign team somewhere to go and do campaign and the rest, and they're like it is our turn. Even we now, we have paid all the prices. Even we now, we don't pay the price. Maybe they give us this thing now, it is our turn. So you see, the masses will not actually get it correct if they give this type of person this position. And that's why you see Governor Sule is performing very well, because Sule came from the private sector. You see what Sule is turning Nasarawa into? A private sector-led economy hub, where you see a lot of productions are happening now. In fact, a lot of companies are moving from Lagos to Nasarawa simply because of economic policies. These are knowledge-based issues. So if the masses take time to understand the operations of government better, they will know who and who can lead them better. So they won't be voting because they have been given money to vote for a certain person. And they won't be voting because they love it. This is not about I love you. It's not about I love this person. It is about, can this person perform? Imagine you bring somebody, how will I put it now? Imagine you bring somebody who is running a system, who is running a business, just a shop, and you want to make that person the chief executive officer of your company. You know that being a chief executive is not just that this person understands business. This person must first of all understand systems. Because as chief executive of the company, you are going to be relating with the shareholders. If not, you are the highest shareholder. You are going to be relating with board of directors. You are going to be relating with independent, non-executive directors. You are going to be relating with the CAC. And you are going to understand corporate financing, corporate governance at a larger level. Because it is not just understanding business. So now, you as the high shareholder of this industry or this company is bringing somebody to manage your company. It's not that this person should just understand business or this person can get this done. This person must also understand how to manage the system. The system is in fact is the number one priority. So the masses must get this very correct.
That's
on
correct.
This aspect.
Yeah, you often heard you spoke about system,
yes,
and prosperity. In your own opinion, how can we practically create shared prosperity as a state and as a nation and as a people, regardless of our political or economic limitations? You must agree with me that there are some limitations.
Yes, there are a lot of limitations.
How can we achieve that, bearing in mind these limitations?
These limitations cannot hinder a visionary. Somebody who is a visionary cannot be hindered by limitations. In fact, he uses those limitations as advantages. Okay. I will give you a practical example with Mr. President using Lagos. When he took over as governor of Lagos, Lagos was a heap of refuse. Lagos didn't have the revenue even up to 1 billion. Lagos had dilapidated structures. Lagos was not this, in quote, a rich state as people target today. This man had to create what you are saying. So number one, we have to deal with the issue of mindset. The issue of mindset is that we must believe that it is possible. There should be nothing that will hinder us. It must be a possible thing. We have a revenue of 600 million as a state. This as governor of Lagos. And we have a lot of things we have to do. And we have a future to pursue. And we can't pursue this future without these funds. How can we create massive and huge revenue? That is when you bring up a plan. You bring up new policies. You bring up new laws. You learn from those ones that have worked. You look at what this state is doing. You even go back to history. You even set up a committee to do a study and recommend certain things to you. Because this is your goal. First, you must know what you want. Achieving prosperity, you must know what you want. So when he came on board as the governor of Lagos, the first thing he started tackling, he started doing a lot of policy and legal reforms to give him the foundation to be able to build what he wants to build upon. That's why what he built is sustainable. Because you can end up doing the projects. You can end up building the roads, building the schools, But another government will come that is not so informed like you were and will destroy everything you built. Simply because, one, there were no policy reforms, there were no legal reforms, and the people did not actually understand the target you were moving up to. So what I'm talking about is you must develop a mindset of possibility. You must not develop a mindset of impossibility. Okay, like for instance, if I'm governor of the state today, going forward, you must address the issue of revenue in the state. You must cover the loopholes. You must do a whole total reform in the revenue sector of the state. Every ministry that generates revenue, you must do a very complete reform to take Benue from where it is to where it ought to be so that it can be competitive. So if we must achieve prosperity, we must first of all achieve building a solid foundation, and that foundation cannot be built without the revenue system of the state.
All right, thank you very much. You have to understand that in practical, we have three arms of government.
Yes.
And this sometimes there is friction among them. And so what are the practical advice will you offer to the different arms of government in Benue State, and how the three can work together synergically to create a tangible growth and prosperity?
Yes. Anytime you see arms of government fighting, there's no vision. They're not working up to one thing.
Okay.
It's scattered. The executive is doing a different thing.
Yeah.
The legislature is doing a different thing.
It's a divided house.
It's a divided house. Yeah. So the first person that is going to gather this house is the governor.
Which is the chief executive.
Which is the chief executive. Yeah. He needs a single vision. And maybe the vision could be that by 2027, we want that Benue youth should be employed. We want to employ up to 10,000 Benue youths. And this is how we seek to achieve this goal. You understand?
Yes.
I'm just trying to give an example to demonstrate how something like this can be created.
Yeah.
This is how we seek to achieve this goal. In the Ministry of Agriculture, you set a target. Okay. How many crops can do better in Benue? How many of these companies in the world? Okay, Commission of Agric, set up a team, bring up a budget, and you give him a target. That this budget, the end result should be that you are going to employ 10,000 youths at the end of our first term. And this 10,000 youths you are going to employ should be from nothing less than 5 different companies you are bringing in the state. So you see, now this man is working up to a target, the Commission of Agric. You now go to the Ministry of Works. You give him a target. You understand?
Yes.
You go to the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism. You give him a target. You go to the BRS chairman. You set a target. So you now see that the government has a vision. So some of these targets, these various chief executives in their capacities, who are coming to work daily, are working towards something. You will now see that the speaker, who is the one that controls the legislative arm of government, know that these are the targets you want to meet in social sector, in social sector, in social sector. So one, you see these guys are having laws to propose, new laws to bring on board. They are handling executive bills almost each and every sitting. You understand? Yeah. They are already seeing revenue laws to be repealed and amended, and new laws to be proposed. They are already seeing reforms that are to be done when it comes to the structures of some of these agencies, so that they can suit into the vision they have bet on board. Yeah. Maybe going for, okay, like the president. The president is somebody who I so much love because of, he's a type of person that as we're working with him, he set a target that this is where everybody is going to. He said that by 2030, we are going to achieve a $1 trillion economy. And he have actually set up goals, targets, that in the first 1 year, this is what I will do. In my 2 years, this is what I will do. And this is the result we are going to get. In the next 3 years, this is what we are going to do. And this is the result we are going to get. In the oil sector, I want to be producing so barrels of oil per day. This way it will lead us to. In the revenue sector, we are going to do a lot of reforms in this angle. This way it is going to lead us to. You understand? Mm. So the National Assembly, led by Fabio, You understand? It's now working in consonance with this vision. So one, the executive need a singular vision, a vision that will harmonize the entire operation of all the sectors into one thing. Every sector is working on different things that the end result will all take them to this one goal, this one target that they have set for themselves. In this way, these arms of government will stop fighting.
Oh, that's
Their
right.
interest will not be scattered again.
Yes.
Their interest will not be on one thing.
Yes.
Everybody will be working to achieve a single thing. And at the end of the day, when they achieve this thing, all of them will be happy that they finally made it.
That's very good. Yeah, you can also, thank you so much. You can also agree with me that education is critical when it comes to human development and state as well.
Yes.
So as someone who values development and intellect,
Yes.
what is your perception of Nigeria's current educational system, particularly in Benue State, and how do you believe it's affecting our overall progress as a nation? That is, we are talking of the education system. If our education is faulty,
Yes.
definitely the kind of the qualities or the workforce we are producing also will be faulty.
Yes.
So
yes.
in your own, how do you believe this is affecting us in our overall progress of the nation?
In fact, it's a very good question because the educational system in Nigeria has not helped us well.
Okay.
Most of our leaders who have excelled, Dangote did not school in Nigeria. He schooled in Egypt, in Cairo. He had a degree in business studies. The current president did not school in Nigeria. He went to college in Richard Daley College. And then he also went to school in Chicago State University. So you see, the mindset, school is supposed to build a mindset. But the mindset our schools are building in our youth these days, that after school you look for a job. So that mindset doesn't create prosperity. Okay, Elon Musk is creating things, and I was reading online sometime on Twitter. I saw a post by Elon Musk where he said some of the things he has built has defied the laws of physics. That is, a man is building something that has already defied the laws of what you are learning in the Nigerian university system. So the current education, that is why if you come to Nigeria, an accountant doesn't even know how to make money. Somebody read accounting and you give him 100 million, he can't even do investment. Why? What he read was paper. So you see the lecturer lecturing this person has not created this passion for this person to be willing to know that he can use what he learned to produce prosperity or to generate prosperity or to create prosperity. A critical example, our chemistry students, I have been a student of UNAGRIC, and I want to give this example because I have been a science student. And most of what I know about systems, about industries, about how government run this, how political systems operate. In fact, in my entire life, I wanted knowing how systems operate. I didn't learn all of this from school. It is from personal research, reading, practical research, going around, sitting with elders, sitting with administrators, hearing videos, and following people who have done it well, like Mr. President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, His Excellency, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. So actually, my take on education is that Nigerian education have to change to teach our children the practical aspect of what happens in the marketplace. Imagine a chemistry student doesn't know the name of chemicals they use to produce close-up. So the best place they can even go for industrial training is in pure water factories. They end up going to pure water factories to go and do industrial training. And most of them, those pure water factories they go and look for workbooks, practical manuals that people have seen before and they are marked, and they do copy from it. Because the reason they are copying is not because they are not interested, but the lecturers have not been able to stir up that zeal that they can grow and create prosperity with what they are learning. So our Nigerian system of education had to teach people how to create prosperity at each level. The student who is studying mathematics, we have to teach him, like now AI has come out and Mark Zuckerberg is hiring a lot of people. And I was reading something online and he said that in what he wrote online that they are also looking for people who understand algebra. But do our teachers understand that you can use algebra and make money aside from going to school, finishing, studying maths and teaching in the class? You can also use algebra and make money. You understand?
Yes.
So we have to change our perspective. We have to change our perspective. Mindset is critical. The president, I heard him in one of the interviews, he was talking about creating prosperity, and he said a common school driver can create his pathway to fortune. He can create prosperity if actually he have the right mindset. So even if you are educated and you don't have the right mindset, your education will be like a course.
Yes.
In fact, you can be educated, you can even have a good job, but it's possible you will not be prospering.
Yes.
And you will still be living from hand to mouth, even with your good job.
That's very true.
So mindset, education should be to give us a good mindset.
Yeah, the development of mindset.
Yeah, development is to develop our mindset to think broad, to think as creative people, to think as people who can do it, even if every other person is saying it's not possible. As people who can really create the jobs and create the products and create the drugs that our cancer, that people who have cancer can take. Yeah. Imagine our medicine students or people who are into research.
Yes.
Most of them, they are just going to school to finish and look for jobs. So you will now see that in Nigeria, it's people who didn't go to school that have the companies. Dangote did not study cement. He's having a cement factory. He did not study petroleum engineering. He has a refinery. He did not study sugar, or he did not study anything pertaining food science technology. He has a lot of food industries, and then somebody like Boa, because he has a good mindset that he can turn 500,000 into 1 billion. So education should create, and unluckily for us, lastly, concerning this issue of education, unluckily for us, the people we have as lecturers do not promote this mindset. They come to lecture and promote a negative mindset that everything is difficult, because they have also found things difficult, because that is what was passed on to them. So we should begin. In fact, there's a whole lot of things to be done in the educational sector.
No, thank you.
On creating mindset to make sure that our students don't only finish with the mindset to look for jobs, but as they are going to school, they should know that they are going to school to get a positive mindset to create prosperity that others can also come and enjoy.
Thank you very much, Mr. George, to draw the curtain on the case of Benue State. If you had an opportunity to advise His Excellency, Governor Hyacinth earlier, Benue State directly, what strategic recommendation will you give to support and amplify the good work he's already doing?
In fact, he's doing a very tremendous good work. But you see, a lot of sectors are suffering. If I had the opportunity to advise him, my advice is going to center on reforms. You should look at the future and create sustainability. There are a lot of legal reforms to be done. I will advise him on the aspect of reforms in the sense that the revenue of the state needs to thoroughly be looked into. It's a matter to be looked into. Because if the issue of revenue is not looked into, it is when you have money that you can buy a car. It is when you have money that you can tie this road. So if he's tying 16 roads as he's coming into government early when he came into government, he started tying 16 roads. It means he can tie 200 roads if there was more money.
Yes.
So he should look at doing a lot of reforms so that when he's leaving government, he should move the revenue of Benue from that roughly 15 billion. He should, in fact, you can't govern without understanding figures or wanting to look into figures. He should look at taking that revenue from 15 billion to something like 100 billion. It's achievable.
Okay.
And then two, he should look at doing a lot of structural reforms for some of these agencies. He should look at digitizing the entire system. Digitization shouldn't be something that should be done with laxity. Like in Lagos State, if you apply for certificate of occupancy, you get it quickly. But here in Benue is not so. These are things that attract investors. He should look at projects like dredging of River Benue that will bring massive prosperity for the people, and he will forever. In fact, if you dredge that river and you succeed to dredge that river, There's nothing that will stop you from going to heaven, even on the last day, as a former governor. You should look into the issues of creating stable electricity. Like Tinubu was the governor of Lagos State. The president was the governor of Lagos State. And he demonstrated that you can generate independent electricity. But the then federal government did not allow him to scale through. But do you know the first thing he did?
No.
When he became president, he sent a new bill to return generation of electricity back to states. Other states are already discussing that. But what is Benue discussing about that? Investors cannot come into a place and set up industries where there's no constant electricity. That's why every other person is moving to Lagos. There are some parts in Lagos, they don't even take light. If you go to Lekki, you see constant electricity. You go to Eco Atlantic, you see constant electricity. You go to Yagba, where you see a lot of tech industries, you see constant electricity. You understand? So he should look at generating constant electricity. He should take away his attention from those who don't like him, because they will surely exist. And he should focus his attention on things that will bring lasting imprints on the state, like generation of electricity, dredging of the river Benue, and things like things like leading a private sector led economy. By now, I was expecting that they should be talking about public private partnership, because government cannot build all the industries. You understand? If you want to run a capital economy, government will not have to build all the industries. You understand? The president wrote a book with somebody else that drawing water from an empty well. You understand? Benue is like an empty well. The water can come from it. You need strategy, you need vision. By now, I was expecting that the things I'll be hearing on news shouldn't be the battle between this political person with this political person. Or it shouldn't be just mere political news. It should be that the governor of Benue State has partnered so company, and they are building a company that is capable of employing 9,000 youths in the production of this. You understand? In Zone A. And I wanted to be hearing things like the governor is creating economic clusters, economic zones in Benue, and they are already giving lands to investors. And they are like, in the next 5 years, companies will spring up in Benue that is not any state government that built it. So he should, as he's giving jobs in the civil service, like he has done, Msugh have employed a lot of people under his administration. As he's giving jobs in the civil service can employ everybody. You should also look towards the direction of the private sector. This is where the gold mine is. This is where you can make people rich. You understand? Yeah. Because if you have a private sector-led economy, you will have created an entire value chain. There will be a lot of value chains. Some will be distributors, some will be importers, some are going to be exporters. Some will not be producing, but some will be buying from those producing and exporting. So you see a lot of people rising up, having a lot of warehouses. Some will be having a lot of contacts, partnership. The media too will be doing well. You understand? Like you are in the media. Okay, me now, I have a media company by name Eximia. I have a lot of reporters. I have reporters. You understand? And we are trying to see how we can create streams of revenue and we can be paying these guys, because you see them go to school, they are studying journalism, but there's no job anywhere. How many television stations do you have in Benue? At what rate can they employ? Do you understand? Lagos has TVC, Lagos has channels, Lagos has virtually all the industries. In fact, there was a time I carried out an assignment on my own. I was like, I will pick a product I will see produced in Lagos. It's not government that produced them. They were produced by companies. And there are some of these companies in Lagos that don't actually have the production plants. They are outsourced products. They do outsourcing because they have the correct mindset. So if I had the opportunity to advise the governor, he should focus on making sure before he leaves government to create sufficiency for Benue State, he should make sure there's improvement in the revenue sector. The revenue collection of Benue is too poor. Number two, to round it up on this question, number two, he should make sure he look into the aspect of independent power generation for Benue. He should leverage on the law that Mr. President, the bill that Mr. President has signed into law that states can also generate electricity. He should make sure they dredge the river Benue. He's doing a good job. They're already building a university. It will give a lot of employment to people. But he should look also into these things, because these things will create value. And he should make sure he starts bringing a lot of public-private partnerships in Benue, so that these private player guys that have the industries elsewhere in some part of the country or some part of the world, they can come and establish here, and Benue sons and daughters can tap from it, and their talents can find expression.
Thank you so much, Mr. George. I would like to ask you, I believe you have been observing the national politics and leadership side
Yes.
Closely. So in your own honest opinion, assessment of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration so far, how do you assess that, especially in the relations to economic reforms and national unity? You can hear people crying of petrol. There is an increase in transportation and so on and so forth. So how do you assess the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration so far?
The way I can assess Mr. President is trying, and the president is a visionary. He's a go-getter, and he's somebody who understands systems. If you look at the trend in Nigeria, Nigeria has so much been lied to, and Nigeria, unknowingly to them, love these liars. Nigerians love these liars. You understand? Because the president came and unveiled the truth from the removing of oil subsidy. I'm in Nigeria, it is also affecting me. I'm not a billionaire, I'm not even a millionaire. You understand? I can even say I'm not even a thousandaire. But the truth of the matter is, if you understand what happens in government and how government operates and how economy should be in Nigeria and what has not been done, you can daily say that Tinubu is the best president Nigeria has ever had. Because number one, why we are facing what we are facing is because the past administrations lied to us. They were doing things that we enjoy, but putting the nation at risk. Do you know that if Tinubu have not come or become president, God knew why he brought him. Years ahead, if we have kept on having this type of people who has been lying to us, years ahead would have become slaves. Because number one, the removal of oil subsidy, the reforms is doing in the revenue sector of the nation, and a lot of things he's doing. He's totally setting a new foundation. Because even in the Bible, Jesus Christ said that a wise man will not build on sand, where when the wind comes, it will just collapse quickly. That a wise man will not build on sand, he will build on a rock. But unfortunately for Nigeria in time past, they didn't have this rock. It is now that Nigeria have gotten somebody who can actually lay a very solid foundation, this rock that Nigeria will begin to prosper upon. So you see, this is the first time they are producing such numbers of barrels of oil per day in Nigeria. You understand? We are paying painful prices. It's true, I admit. His reforms have caused hunger. You understand? But the truth of the matter is, these reforms are necessary for us to move forward. Because if these reforms, like what is doing, like what Kadroso is doing in CBN, you understand? Making sure he's working on monetary policy. Let me tell you, for your information, Peter Obi, Atiku Abubakar, and some of these people who want to come for president, they will do nothing so different. In fact, if they were to even become president, you will come and discover that President Bola has performed better than them. Because the Lagos people appreciate today was not built in one day. Tinubu laid the foundation. And this is the same pattern he was using. When he came into government as governor of Lagos, he assembled the best team. The present Minister of Finance and coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Dun, was the Commissioner of Finance then in Lagos. These are people he has worked with. He has known what they can do. You understand? And they are doing a lot in Nigeria. So when he became governor of Lagos, he formed a very big team, a team of experts. You have people like Professor Yemi Osibanjo, who were doing reforms in the judiciary. You understand? It is the first time in Nigeria where you see a state government giving bonds to civil servants. Lagos state government was giving bonds to civil servants when he was governor. You understand? These are the ideas he's trying to bring in the nation. So the president is setting a very solid foundation. You understand? And I bet you before the president leaves office, Nigeria will truly confess that he has barely said. Everybody have their view. This man own view. To be very candid, I'm a Nigerian. It's also affecting me. But like I said before, the education Nigeria is getting in the schools have made us not to understand systems. Imagine somebody insulting Mr. President and don't even understand how FIRS operate, and is castigating the tax reform, and he doesn't understand even the meaning of the bill. This person don't even have a single company or even a single business anywhere, and this person is not even working for anybody anywhere, and this person doesn't even have a plan to generate revenue, and he's not paying revenue, and he's the person insulting the president the most. Do you understand this type of a thing? So you see how the education, and this person, maybe he may even have a PhD. So he's ending up misinforming some people who are willing to learn. So what I'm trying to say now is the president is doing well. I'm telling the sincere truth. Where we were before, that is not where we are now. You see what IMF is saying about him. You see what a lot of international people who are experts in the areas of the economy are saying about him. He is doing very well, but the only advice I can give is this. As he's trying to lay a solid foundation, you understand, when you are building a building and you have people who are doing messing work trying to lay the foundation and pour a lot of cement, you also have to pay them well to eat. You understand? So he should bring a lot of initiatives to actually give incentives to youth, so that as he's laying the foundation, he will cushion the effect of the pain the foundation is laying, is bringing upon the masses.
Thank you so very much about your observation concerning Mr. President,
Yes,
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, concerning his administration.
yes,
And let me take you back to the time you were the secretary. I would like you to reflect on your time as the state secretary of the new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP. What are the key lessons did you learn from that political experience? And if possible, what advice would you give to young people who desire to enter into politics and lead with purpose? You were the state secretary, so I believe you have a lot of
yes,
so
yes.
what are the key lessons you learned from that position?
Yes.
I'd like you to share your advice to people, especially the young ones who may also be intending to go into politics.
Yes.
Mr. Can you please share with us?
The former governor of Benue State is somebody I also love. You know me, I don't hate leaders. If you want to go far, you don't hate who is already there. But he defined politics in a way that I didn't like. Though that's how they play it. But that definition is not a good one. It will create a mindset, a negative mindset in the heart of people who are already having negative mindsets towards certain things. He said policy is a game of interest. And whatever you can do for your interest to try, you should do it. It's not a correct definition for me. It's true, it's a game. In fact, everything in this world, even if you give somebody a job, he's expecting a salary. That's his interest. Everything in this world is based on interest. But I don't like that definition, because that interest aspect, these youths, they find a way to get to any extent to get their interest achieved. It's not a good thing. You understand? The youth should be focused more on acquiring knowledge concerning the operations of the systems. They can better appreciate it when they step into it. Because somebody who is in office as a senator will not want his zone to destabilize his role. But you see a youth to be saying, we are leaders of today, we are leaders of today, we want the power. The power should be given to the youth. But this youth is a thug. You understand? You can't use him in an executive position because he doesn't know it. He can't offer anything actually in that system. He can't organize anything. He can't initiate a simple process. He doesn't understand internal control. So what I learned during my time as secretary of the party, I learned loyalty. The person that made sure I came on board was the chairman of the party, retired Group Captain Steve Ada. You understand? In fact, there were a lot of people, a lot of factions, a lot of they say this is what they're saying. There were a lot of battles, there were a lot of court cases. I never wavered. I'm this type of a person. I don't waver on my loyalty. You understand? I don't waver because I serve God. I understand the implication of wavering on loyalty. A king will not want the death of another king. Because, let me give you a critical example. Saul was pursuing David. But when David had an opportunity to kill him, The people will say, kill him. This is the day God has said you become king. David said, no, I won't kill him. The Lord forbid I lay my hand on God's anointed. Do you know what David did? It was not Saul David was saving. David was saving himself. David knew if he kill this man, me too, I will become king someday. So these people will know that it is good to kill a king. So they won't be afraid to also kill me if I mess up. You understand? So him not killing Saul, he rather save himself. So you should be looking at this perspective. A lot of people paid prices for democracy. You know, democracy itself is government, is the institution of government, is the freedom to operate without military interference. You understand? To operate constitutionally, to operate with freedom. You have freedom of choice. And some of these youths, they don't even know how to use their freedom. You understand? So my advice to them is they should better study and understand systems. Then they can better appreciate the future they are looking for when they get to those places. Because when I was secretary, I was a very loyal secretary to my party chairman. In fact, some people just come and offer me money that sign this, sign this. I will tell them, no, I don't have to sign anything. In fact, do you know what I did? No. I created an internal control system that no document is signed by me except approved by the chairman. So my take was just communication by the chairman. You understand? I initiated that. Even if your leader does not know some certain things, you don't have to override it simply because he doesn't know. You have to advise him that, oh God, this thing we are doing, or this thing you are about to do, these people will create a ditch for you here. You understand? Make him to trust you. Be this trusted fellow. Don't engage in protest. No matter how painful it is. Because you know it's true. It is constitutional that you can protest. You can come out for a peaceful protest. But there are people who have negative mindsets that can take out the protest to become violence. So anything that will disrupt democracy, don't be engaged in it. This is the only way youth can also grow to take up these systems and have freedom to find expression by adding their quota to the development of the state.
Thank you very much for that brilliant advice there. You are widely admired by your peers for your intelligence and strategic mind. Yet you often mention that most of what you know, the things you learned, are not really from the school you attended.
Yes.
I would like to ask what inspires your intelligence and drive, and how would you advise aspiring entrepreneurs who want to do business and do, but often get it wrong?
Okay. What inspires my drive is vision. Vision. Mindset. I want to do big things. I believe it is possible to grow and become like Dangote. It is possible to employ like Dangote. It is possible to own the banks like Tonu Elumelu. It is very possible. So I believe that if you can draw the picture, you can get the picture that you are drawn. That's what inspires my drive. My drive is inspired for what is in the future. We are going into a future where the whole world will come to Benue to look for food. You understand? You know everybody is going to technology. You understand? But time will come. They will start looking for technology because we are going to have abundance of technology. They will be looking for food. So my drive is inspired by vision, a positive mindset to create prosperity. In any opportunity that is given to me, the mindset to create prosperity. And for entrepreneurs, not just entrepreneurs, people who are willing to become big, they should first understand systems. Don't just have a business and you are running a business without a system. You won't grow. You understand? If you want to run a business, you must be willing to understand the law. You must be willing to understand the revenue laws of the land. You must be willing to understand how certain things operate when it comes to running businesses. Like If you are the high shareholder of the company, how can I set my goals to set up a board that will not fight me? You understand? And I can still, because most people, they are afraid to run companies, even as shareholders, because they don't know how to operate when it comes to corporate governance. But you must understand corporate governance. If you take a hotel or a business that is dead for years and give it to me now, give me a target, I will get you any result you want. Any result at all. If your business was making 50 million per year, you'll be very shocked. To God who made me, I can create 1 billion for you. The thing is, because forget about the amount I'm calling. People have done those things. People like the governor of Nasarawa State, A.A. Sule, when he was working with African Petroleum, he did a lot of things. You understand? The company was at no level. When he came, he changed the entire company into a good mind. You understand? Because he understands systems. He knew that in the first 1 year, this is my target. In the first 1 year, we are going to create revenue. You are not going into expansion yet. You are just focused on creating revenue. So you are building up a system that will be focused on creating revenue. So all the segments and organs of this business are working. And it's having one person in control. So you are controlling the entire business. I'm speaking to entrepreneurs now. You are controlling the entire business at one place. You understand? You have this person in charge of accounting. You have this person in charge. In fact, don't have an accountant at the same time. You should be your cashier. No. Differentiate it. That is why government is sustainable to date. And that is why government doesn't fail. Because it's not the person that look for money that spend the money. It's not the person that spend the money that even authorize for the money. You understand? It's not the person that authorize that even approve. So the difference Dangote have with other entrepreneurs is you may have the same idea as Dangote has, but you cannot achieve what Dangote is achieving because Dangote understand corporate governance and you don't understand corporate governance. You understand? Like for instance, take me to a restaurant that they are making just 200,000 per day. I may triple even that to 600,000 per day. Because one, I will get capable hands. I will train them. I will set targets. So this person is trying to meet his target as the executive director of finance. This person is trying to meet his target as the executive director of real estate. This person is trying to meet this one company into finance, into real estate, into oil and gas. You understand? And these people are working towards one target. So you must understand how to set targets. You must understand how to set targets for the long term, for the short term, and for the medium term. In the long term, this is where we want to be. But in the short term, this is what we want to be doing. In the medium term, this is where we want to start from. You understand? And medium term will lead us to short term, and short term will lead us to long term. Okay, in the short term, we want to focus on revenue. Maybe we are just starting as a company. You understand? Okay, I will give a critical example to my own self. I have started a media company some time back. I'm not the one reporting. I'm not the one reporting news. Just within 28 days, my company reached 128,000 views online on Facebook. You understand? And we're driving towards monetization so that at least we can create passive income. I'm the one, it's my company. I have the idea. But even if I have the idea, I know how to set the targets. I know how to set the paperwork. But I may not be the one to implement it. But I may be the one to monitor it. You understand? And I got this person who understands journalism, who has been into this media thing, who knows this thing in and out. You understand? And I told him, advise me, what can we do to meet this target? He said, if we have this amount, we can get influencers, we can get this, we can get this, we can get this. That's okay. What I'll do is, I'll be funding you. You understand? They make sure you are reporting to me. And this reporting, he's not reporting to me with his mouth. He writes it and signs it as a brief. He's getting this corporate knowledge that at the end of every week, I write a brief to my boss. You understand? He has a sense of responsibility that this my boss keep his words. So even if we start generating money, he will do well to me. You understand? So my advice to entrepreneurs is they should think that they will not ever do it alone. The Bible says, Paul planted, Apollos watered, and God gave it the growth. You may be the highest shareholder, the chairman of the company. You may be the planter, but somebody else will water it. and somebody else will come and make it grow. You understand? So as entrepreneurs, you must understand the giftings. And as an entrepreneur, don't be focused on certificates. Do you have a degree in this? Do you have a degree? Except when it comes to professional jobs. Like somebody who is a legal advisor. That one you must need a professional. You understand? But if you need somebody who will be the managing director of the company, you must not go and get somebody who has a degree. There are some degree holders who did business management. Give them a company before. I'm telling you, quote me anywhere before. If you not, in fact, if you give them, if you give them a capital of 50 million, that you are going to invest in this business, I want the outcome, and you set a target that this is what we want to achieve. You will come back and tell your guy, we have spent 20 million, we have not achieved even one single target. You'll be angry that you will engage him. But if you go and give a normal guy who is a researcher, who has been into corporate governance before, he's not the opportunity to have a degree. You understand? But he understands systems. He knows this. Okay, me for instance, I fell out of university because of paucity of funds. I didn't have money. I have to later find my way, look for ways, hustle, and go and still reapply. You understand? Currently, I'm a student. I reapply. They gave me readmission. You understand? But I didn't stop at that. I have a diploma in business intelligence from Scholars Institute of Technology because I'm studying chemistry. But I have a lot of problems when it comes to systems. I have a lot of talent. In fact, that is my major stake. There's no system that you give me that will not work. If we're not making any cash, you come and see people everywhere. Because it is a grace, it is an anointing, it is a throne that has been given to me. You understand? I have a diploma in accounting and finance. You understand? Through distance learning. They are verified diplomas from this institution. You understand? So what I'm trying to advise these entrepreneurs is they should focus on talent hunting. They shouldn't just focus on papers. Because these papers, these guys, anybody can go to school, read books. Some people are good at reading and passing exams. But they may not be flexible and good at implementing when it comes to system and corporate governance. So I want to advise entrepreneurs that if they must go far, they must not go alone. They may have the ideas, they may have the money, they may have the capital, but they must be willing to build systems that will work even when they are not there. Systems that can work and create money. You know, money can be created. It's something that can be created. 50 million can be created to 1 billion. 1 billion can be created to 200 billion. That's what Dangote does. Dangote just create money. You understand? So if you have a guy that can create money as an entrepreneur around you, your idea can find its way. You'll be shocked that what you were doing that was not playing shishi. You begin to earn a lot of money. You'll be like, is this a magic? No. You only get with somebody who is good in this. I will advise our youth and our leaders, our youth to focus on knowledge-based approach to life and governance, knowledge-based. They should focus on study and research. This is the only way they can grow and become who they want to be. Knowledge and research. You can't do without knowledge. They shouldn't just focus on passing exams. Even if it means they will fail exams, they acquire a certain level of knowledge. Because some people are in school, they are only studying to pass exams and be appreciated. But after the exam, ask them any question, they can't answer it. They can't tell you, they are not flexible around it. They should focus on developing a positive mindset. They should read successful stories. How Elon Musk did it. How Jeff Bezos did it. Jeff Bezos started Amazon in the garage. How Mark Zuckerberg did it. He fell out of school to start Facebook. And Facebook is paying a lot of people all over the world. He was not taught how to build Facebook in the class. You understand? In fact, the teachers who were teaching him computer science did not even understand that something like that can really happen. But he was able to create something. He was able to imagine. He was able to think big. So our youth should focus on creating a positive mindset and acquiring more knowledge, not just academic knowledge, research knowledge that can bet the type of Nigeria we want to see. And our elders should focus on supporting our youth because they are the leaders of tomorrow. Our elders who are in government, our leaders who are in government, they should be focused on making real impact rather than just working on the minds of people and waiting for other political seasons. You understand? Creating real, like for instance, Apeku did literally everything in Benue. Apeku Stadium. Even the DSU here, It was Apeku's initiative. He initiated it. It was passed into law before Adasu came on board and beat it. You understand? The man was a visionary. The man was a visionary. And today we are enjoying everything Apeku did. The state secretariat that the governor came and renovated, it was done by Apeku. Today you can't find any project in Benue. Not just Benue, even in Nigeria that can be done at that level. You understand? This man had the people in the mind. Look at Tarakunis, Apeku. Imagine the former governor of Benue State came out and said, in fact, it was one of the top priorities in his campaign, where he's going to revive Tarakunis. You understand? But all of a sudden, Tarakunis became a moribund industry. One man did it, and it is just to manage, you can't manage it. Somebody did it too, and you is only management. You are not doing this thing afresh. Imagine, from 1990, this thing can be managed. Management, and then there was no even money, like they have money today. How was this man able to achieve these great things he did within a short period of time? And these people, they have up to 8 years these days, 8 years, and they are not willing, and they are not able to even manage and sustain the pace of growth that the founders of this thing created these things to function the way it's to function. So my advice to my leaders, my advice to the elders, they should focus on leaving real legacies that will leave smiles and create prosperity. Our government should focus on creating prosperity. If we are tying a road and that road will not create prosperity in that community, that road is meaningless. If we are giving a speech and that speech cannot create prosperity, it is meaningless. As a governor, if we are giving approval and that approval cannot create prosperity, a system whereby, for instance, they are to do supplies and a lot of contractors come around to do the supply, and you carry the supply and give to only one person, you don't want to support anybody now. You understand? You're not creating prosperity. Because as you are giving this contract, most of these contractors, they have businesses in town that they have employed other people. You understand? And these contracts are also means of creating revenue. So our government should be focused on creating prosperity for now and the future. This is the only advice I will have for our government. But as for the youth, they should focus on building a positive mindset.